Hello my friends, welcome back. I'm JC and this is Grace Overflowing. In today's video, I've got a couple of dreams I want to share with you all. I want to first say that it's definitely a weighty message and I believe that it will be difficult to hear, and I want you to know that it is difficult to speak to. And I have taken this very seriously, as I do all of my messages that I speak on this channel. Even this morning, as I received the second of the two dreams that I'm going to share with you today, I had wrestled with this message, really asking for yet another confirmation so that I could be sure, because I do not want to misrepresent and I do not want to mislead anyone, and I certainly don't want to evoke any fear in the body or the world at large. And so I had gone to get my phone, and out of the blue I had realized that a friend of mine had sent me a text message that basically said, whatever the Lord has put on your heart to do, just do it. And so with that, I proceeded to prepare for this message, and that's why I'm here before you to give it today. But with that said, I ask you to take this to the Lord in prayer for confirmation for yourself, and to ask Him to reveal what it is that He's speaking in it and through it, and also to ask Him what He would have you to do to prepare for you and your family as it relates. And so with that said, I want to tell the first dream. It happened in June the 19th of this year, and I saw myself asleep in a bed, and I saw myself say September, September, September. And so when I had awakened from that dream the next day, it seemed significant just because September is such a significant month as it connects to Israel and as it connects to the beginning of the fall feast schedule, the Feast of Trumpets. Many of us who are watching for the Lord's return know that, there's a lot that points to the Lord's return potentially on Feast of Trumpets. There are many people that are certain that it will be on this day. Even though I am not one of those people, I definitely think it's a high watch day and certainly possible rapture day. And so with that said, I've continued to wait in anticipation for this month. And as September the 1st hit, that really grew. And so the Lord had been kind of quickening my memory from June and this dream and what it could potentially imply. And so this morning I had gotten up in the night to spend some time with the Lord, and I had gone back to lay down in the early morning hours, and I had had another dream. In this dream, I walked up to a family member who was standing speaking to another person, and this family member had said, "We're going to war. Something is going to happen soon." And I say, yes, something is about to happen. And with that, this family member rather dismissively had said something along the lines of we, meaning America, would put a short or a quick end to it, meaning we would arise as a fast victor. And when she said this, I said, "Don't be so sure, Babylon." With this, there was a notion of time brought up and a question of what we should do while we wait. And I said, "I'll tell you this. I had a dream." And this family member said, again, rather dismissively, "Oh yeah?" And I said, "Yes." And then I proceeded to tell the dream that I had had in June, that I was lying in bed, in my dream, asleep, and I saw myself saying the word September, September, September. And so as I awakened from this dream this morning, I had received a Bible verse as a confirmation. It was Isaiah 10:10, and I understood that this was not only the confirmation, but also what I was supposed to speak to, meaning the message that I'm supposed to, quote, tell them. And so with that, I want to read Isaiah 10:10 and 11, which say, "As my hand has reached to the kingdoms of the idols, whose carved images were greater than those of Jerusalem and Samaria, shall I not do to Jerusalem and her idols as I have done to Samaria and her images?" My friends, when I saw that that was the verse that the Lord had given me in confirmation and as the message, it just completely almost took my breath because of the way that this connects to Revelation 17 and Revelation 18. And also seems to confirm the other messages the Lord has been giving me very recently, that judgment is coming, and it is coming to America. The thing that the Lord really impressed upon me is that you cannot spell Jerusalem without spelling USA. And while some people want to claim that there's going to be a great restoration, that the Lord is going to bring back wealth and prosperity and really make America great again in the physical sense and the earthly sense, that is just not true. And the reason why we know that is not true is because God never changes. And just as Israel and the Jews are God's chosen people, I believe, as it relates to the Gentiles, America was God's chosen people. These people say that we have been set apart, and that is true, and we have been blessed by the Lord, and that is true. And by these words, we know that we will be judged, just as Jerusalem, just as Israel was judged. The Lord is no respecter of persons, and as he judged his people, Israel, he will judge his people that are the beacon of the church as it relates to the Gentiles. And I've spoken before that there's a lot of reasons for this, and it has to do with the way that America has really fallen far from the genuine gospel and the true message. And there's been twisting of the word to enable sin. There's been a trend toward only teaching half of the word, only the good stuff, not even teaching that sin is a sin anymore. And then there's the trouble of the whole prosperity and wealth gospel, which America has basically been responsible for corrupting the rest of the world with. So our false doctrines have traveled far and wide and have influenced the entire world. And so with that, I just want to also say that while some people would argue that what we see in Revelation 17, which is actually the church, the great prostitute, and in Revelation 18, which is the land upon which she sits, which is America, while many would say that that's Rome, I disagree, because Rome has never really belonged to the Lord. They are not known as the home of the Christian church. They are known as the home of the Catholic Church, which is completely different. This is not only a twisted false doctrine, it's a religion in and of itself. I mean, it is so far from what Christianity really is. It just props itself up on Christianity. And, there's the same characters, but otherwise it's a complete and total falsity. I believe that the great prostitute represents those who literally were the golden cup in the king's hand. And so if you look back and do scripture studies, we see that the Lord in his word constantly refers to Israel as the prostitute, as a prostitute, because she sold herself out to the nations. She was bowing down at the false altars. She was engaging in all of the pagan false god worship. And so for those same reasons, when we see the prostitute who rides the great beast and the beast system, basically, we know that the prostitute is the one who has basically defied her master, has defiled herself, and she has gone after other men or other images and other idols, of which America has many. And so with that said, I want to say again, there is no fear in perfect love. We know that the hour is late and the time is coming. The Lord is coming. And so whatever happens, we just need to remember that God is sovereign and he protects his people. But I definitely feel that the Lord wanted me to put this warning out there and encourage you to seek him, being prepared in the physical in whatever way, but also more than anything, being prepared in the spiritual, being really aware of the status of your heart. I've said it so many times, the heart is deceitful above all things. The Pharisees thought they were ready for the Messiah to come, but they weren't. They didn't even recognize him. And for the same reason, we know that there will be many in the church that think they're ready for rapture, that think they will be taken in the rapture, that just like the Pharisees who were blind to their blindness are blind, and who will be left behind. And so it is my encouragement to you to seek the Lord and ask him to shine his light into your heart, reveal to you any place in your heart there might be darkness, any place where you might be blind to your own blindness. And my friends, if you fall at the Lord's feet in this way and you sincerely call out to him and ask him to tell you these things and search for him with all of your heart, then scripture tells us when you search for him with all of your heart, he will be found by you and he will be near to you. And so with that, I'm going to leave you. Until next time, may the Lord bless you and guide you and fill you with his perfect grace overflowing.